Okay, so now I do the share screen. And I want to share. You just pick one at a time. Is that how that works?
You can share whichever screen you'd like.
Okay.
On your, it should give you a list of options.
Share this one first. Okay. This is what the action thing here. This is the action list that we're going to go over. Was everyone able to? Were you guys able to print it? You guys are mute. Can you hear me, Dominic and Peggy?
Yeah.
Okay.
You were on mute, of course, because you can see that. That's a good thing. Yeah, I have it on my PC, so I'll print it later.
Okay. And let's see. Okay, so now I want to bring that one up instead. Okay. So can everyone see the election procedure one?
Not on your screen, the PowerPoint. Right now we're looking at your spreadsheet.
All right, so let's stop that share. And let's share screen and PowerPoint. There we go. I'll get the hang of this eventually.
Yeah, and I'll remember to unmute.
Okay, now you can see this?
Yes. You'll have this all down by November 4th, Randy.
That's right. Okay, so I just wanted to kind of walk through this main purpose of this for Dominic and Peggy is for us to all be on the same picture as to what we're doing, and also update the end thing of this meeting is to update the action list. What do we have to do? Who's going to do it? Okay, so let's see. Let's go to slide 2. Okay, so this is the overview. Thanks to Peggy, we got a new diagram of the mini gym, and it lays out how you enter. You enter, you come to the, you see the blue line bringing you to the registration table, registration counter. You can see over on the left, it describes the actions that take place. What's going to take place as you come into the room, what takes place at the registry counter. Then you go, if you're not on the registry, then you go to the provision, and you do live in town, then you go to the provisional table and you get taken care of there. And then if you're a provisional voter, then you will fill out your ballot. You'll fill out your provisional application, you'll fill out your provisional ballot, you'll put it in the provisional ballot box, and then you'll go back out those red lines and exit. If you're a registered voter, we've changed the way we did it from, Peggy and I have talked, we've kind of changing the way that we were doing it in 2016. We're not going to use folders. We're not going to pass out the ballots at a separate table. So at the registry table, they're going to get their voter authority card, which prints out from the poll book. They're going to get their ballot will be issued. If there's a change of address issue, then the voter can write it on the back of the voter authority card that they have to sign and verify. Also the judge will write it on a new address list that'll be there at their table. The person will then take their ballot and BAC and voter authority card over to the voting judge. See the tables that she's got lined up over in the corner there. That judge will direct them to a table, to, an empty seat, sit down, they can vote. When they're done voting, and you can also see the voting and scanning tables on the left that has what exactly they do. They go from there then to the DS200, and they They give their voter authority card to the judge, and then the voter him or herself puts their ballot into the DS-200, and it'll scan it. It'll tell them whether if they successfully voted, a nice little picture will come up saying you voted. If not, they may have to decide whether they're going to, if they overvoted, an issue happens. If they vote for too many town councilmen or too many mayors, or they say yes and no to the question, then it'll say overvote, and then it's the same machine they're going to use for the state, federal, presidential election. So they'll either say okay cast, or they'll say I think it's give it back. I can't think of the word right now, but they can retrieve. They can get their ballot back. If they want to take it back and spoil that ballot and fill out a new ballot, then I've decided that we're gonna the voting table judge will have a package of an envelope with about 10 ballots in it, and also have an envelope for spoiled ballots. That person will, so they will then go back to the person at the voting table, the voting judge. He'll tell them how to spoil their ballot, and you'll see that later in my instructions here. And also they will get a new ballot, fill it out, and take it to the scanning judge and put it in the machine. So they'll just go back that way. If they make a mistake in their ballot, any reason they have to spoil a ballot, the spoiled ballots will be controlled by the voting table judge. I figured this was going to be a lot easier to help maintain the 6-foot distances, not sending them back to the registration table. This should work easier. We want trying to reduce the amount of people that touch things. We used to put them in folders, carry the folders around, and then recycle the folders. So throughout the day, 50 or 100 voters may touch the same folder. So we're trying to eliminate that kind of stuff. Okay, so next slide. This is the voter authority card. So this is a pretty good facsimile of kind of an example of what's going to print out from the poll book. Okay, it's not exact, but it's probably pretty close. So the voter signs, the check-in judge at the registry table initials. The registry judge also is the ballot judge in this election, and so we'll initial there as well. When they go over to they'll go over to the voting table, vote, and then they'll go to the scan judge. The scan judge will be the voting judge on this voter authority card. We'll initial there when they take the voting authority card. You don't get to put a ballot in unless you give the voting authority card to the judge. Okay, and if you guys have any questions as we go through, feel free to bring it up. I'm not really going to go in detail in these next slides here. These are the judge briefs. This is what we brief our new judges, because we bring on 6 additional judges for the day, and we have to brief them of their duties and things. So these next so many slides are about that. And you can see that they reference the code where it comes from, either the code or the charter. Here's the next one. We may have to discuss how we're going to deal with if a candidate wants to appoint a challenger. Peggy, I need you to pay attention as to where you might allow them to be in the room. Normally our code lets them basically position themselves anywhere in the room where they can see things. There may be some restriction about that because of the 6 feet. They can go anywhere they want as long as they stay 6 feet away from everybody. You know, I don't know exactly how to word that.
Tough time hearing.
I could see them being like where the tape chairs are.
Yeah, and
Because they can't go walk around by the voters anyway, because they can't go near somebody who's actually marking a ballot. And they can't go near them when they're doing the scanning, really, because they shouldn't be looking at what's getting scanned.
yeah, you'll if you look at the form we did before, I think it kind of lays out what they're allowed to do. They're not allowed to actually be over their shoulder
Right.
when they're voting, or when they're putting the ballot into the scanner.
But
But
talk to them.
so they're kind of like, I don't know if it says 6 foot. I have to go back and look. It might already say they got to stay 6 feet away. I'm sure it says at least 3 feet away. So we probably will try not to restrict them being able to walk to the different, you know, over by the voting area, over by the scanners, but they're going to have to stand off. They can't actually be where they can see the person voting, you know, see the ballot that they're voting and stuff. So we'll have to look at that. Please, any ideas?
I have a few ideas.
Okay, and you kind of have the room, you know.
Yeah.
Thank you, by the way. So you can kind of talk about that. I made this slide kind of just to kind of remind us about COVID and what do we want to tell the judges. Probably the key thing here is you know, you have a mask in the room. Holly, I think I asked before, but we'll probably have to have, we'll have some masks that we will be able to give them if they don't have one. I would like to get a sanitizer dispenser, you know, an automatic one where they can just put their hand under it and get it. I don't know if we'll be able to get one of those or not, or if we'll have to have one on a table and be able, you know, the entry judge to be able to give them the hand sanitizer so they can do it before they come into the room.
Yeah, I don't think we should provide masks. I mean, everybody is aware that if you go in a public place, you're supposed to have a mask.
But you can forget it.
Yeah, you could forget it, and it's like if you go to a restaurant or anywhere, they usually have masks, you know, those disposable masks available. Grocery stores, you know, have that, you know.
They're going to be printed up with "Vote for Larry."
Okay, so you know, I just kind of point out some of the things that every voter is going to touch these different things, and it's possible that judges or other voters will touch them as well. You know, maintain the 6 foot safe distancing. Judges will wear masks at all times in the polling room. Judges will use, I want to have smaller bottles of sanitizer on each one of the tables so that the judge can use them throughout the day. No food, we changed our way of, Peggy and I talked about this the other day. No food in the polling room. I didn't know, no drinks. I don't know the hazard there, but maybe I don't know.
Until after 5.
What's that?
Until after 5.
Not those drinks.
Oh.
I meant water, coffee, something like that. You understand what I'm saying? I don't
Yeah.
know whether we want to restrict that or not. I just pointed out one door for entry, exit is all we have. Skip the slide. There we go. This is general information to the voter. We don't have to go over this, spend time on these. This is part of the briefing that one of the 3 of us will give to the new judges. Same here. Okay.
So what happens if we think a voter needs assistance?
You have a form. You probably have already signed off on it.
So I know, but all right. So I don't mean the form. So in that case, it looks like somebody needs assistance. Like, are they by themselves, or you mean somebody who brought somebody to help them?
Are you asking that as a question?
Yep. I don't, because you said be alert for voters needing assistance. So if you got somebody and you think they need assistance, I guess you ask them, you need help? And then what?
Well, it depends on what kind of help you're talking about. If you're talking about help in reading the ballot, there's a form that has to be filled out. A judge can help them, but there's rules with that. And that's part, if you go back into the first slides here, under the judge briefs where I quote the code, you'll find that information.
Okay. Okay.
Okay? So that's why this brief will be important to all the judges. And you especially, you and Dominic especially have to read it, because if someone's going to be given, if we have to fill out the form, it's going to be one of the three of us that do it,
Yeah.
that sign off on it. Okay, so instructions for opening the poll, basic stuff. Here's one of the problems is, you know, our code requires us to put into the registry, input into the registry, the absentee ballots that have been issued. So if we've issued or received an absentee ballot, it's supposed to be recorded into our registry. Now, we used to do that when we controlled it. We're going to be getting using their poll book this time, and only the state can input that information. So it's a matter of us getting them a list of absentee ballots in time, you know, that we have received, and them entering it. Or I have an alternative, you'll see it later, which is after Election Day, after the polls close, we will validate our absentee ballot tracker with those who have voted. And then the three of us, if someone has voted, has submitted an absentee ballot and we have it in hand, but they also came in person and voted, then we will, as a board, void their absentee ballot. We'll reject their absentee ballot because we already got their vote, which is okay. People should be allowed to do that. That happens in the regular election as well. But that's the way we will make sure we don't have duplicate votes.
Okay. But we're going to go, the setup polling area is just turning on the machines, right? Picking up the machines and turning them on, because we're going to set up the tables and the tape and all that the day before.
That's correct.
Okay, good.
And then that morning, we will actually turn on the machine and do the step-by-step setup of both of them, both the DS200 and the poll book. This briefing will be given to the judges the night prior, and we'll also set up the room at that time. So it'll all happen at the same time.
When do we know who our judges are, the other 6?
I don't know. Have you decided who they are yet?
I don't know even how you decide.
I'm teasing. We will have to get that word put out probably in the September mailer, that emails that Holly sends out, and also on the website. We have to decide how we want to ask for judges. I don't know that we want to just generally put out hey, anybody want to be a judge? Maybe
Is there not a list of who has been trained to be a judge? Do you not need judge training for this, or anybody like off the street can sign up?
No, the training is what you're looking at now.
All right, so really anybody off the street can sign up.
As long as they're a registered voter.
Right.
That's they got to be on our registry. This is just tracking the ballots throughout the day. This is the procedure for the register table. Also, I started to add in, the supplies and stuff that go to that table. I've talked us through most of this. This is this is more of the details. This is the detail on how to use the poll book, the procedure.
Yeah.
I do need to add the procedure for changing the name of the judge on the specific poll book, because when the voter authority card prints out, it'll have the judge's name on there.
Mhm.
So when a new judge, when we turn over and we relieve each other, the new judge will go in. There's a way to go in and change and put your name in, so that when the ballot is, when the voter authority card is printed out, it'll say the judge that actually registered them. Voting table procedure, and you can see that I added that the table judge will control spoiled ballots and issue voter new ballot when needed. As you guys get a chance to review these, you can come back and give any other comments or any changes. I'm not finalizing this brief at this point. This is the latest update based on trying to add a little bit of COVID into it. Here's the scan judge procedure. Here's the spoil ballot procedure. Of course, we'll have to put the real ballot in there. Here, this one gets put at the voting stations for the voters. This will be on their table in one of those document protectors taped to the table so that they can see the instructions. We'll have a specimen ballot. The specimen ballots can then be posted in the area so that they can read them while they're in line.
Mhm.
They of course, it's not a real ballot. It won't have the black lines on the outside of it like the scannable ballot will, so it won't scan. But it allows them to actually, this kind of form can actually go out or be available to the public. We probably will have this available so that they can see who they can vote for prior to them even going to the election. So when they go in, they'll have they can actually do their cheat sheet, and fill it out themselves. They're allowed to carry that into the voting area, just like you are for the federal. You can have a cheat sheet of the ballot, and you can carry that in. It's not the one you actually vote, but you can use that to remember who you want to vote for.
Okay.
This is instruction that goes to on the provisional table. Here's the provisional table procedure. This is for the judge. This is for the, this goes on the provisional table for the voter. These are instructions for closing the poll. Oh, one of the other things that has changed is we have eliminated write-in candidates we're going to eliminate write-in candidates from the voters. Peggy, you're laughing at me, aren't you? Yeah. I must be doing something silly. Okay, so
Yeah, I'm just imagining writing people in, that's all.
so I had talked it over with the lawyer, and also with Gail Hatfield at the county, and she highly recommended that since we do not cover a write-in candidate in our code, and because of what is stated in the code, a write-in candidate, even if a write-in candidate got sufficient votes to say beat Larry out, they would not be eligible. They would not be able to we would not be able to validate them as a candidate. That has to be done prior to the election. That is the same thing that state and federal do as well. But they have different provisions actually in their code that talk about how that is handled. But the biggest difference there is that our candidate has to apply 8 weeks prior. Their candidates have to apply, I think it's 5 or 8 months prior. And so they have an actual deadline that's in October where they can apply as a write-in candidate at a cutoff date in October. If they've done that and they've been approved, they can be a write-in candidate for the state, federal, county. We don't have such provision, so I'm taking that out, and no write-in candidate spaces will be on the ballot. It was highly recommended we didn't do that because that gives the public a false sense that they can actually vote a write-in candidate, and the code doesn't allow it. This is my alternative. If I cannot get this, if we cannot arrange for the state to put it into the disc that they give the county to put into our poll book, this is the way that we will ensure we don't have duplicate voting between absentee voters, an absentee ballot and coming in person. We'll use the absentee tracker that all 3 of us have been working on. This is something we can do before Election Day, and we will lock. I think what we're going to do is lock them into the election cabinet at the town hall, so that we have access to them. But we can build them in the batches of 25. We can take them out of the envelopes, out of the return envelope, and take the oath envelopes, and we'll keep those oath envelopes. And we'll validate the oath envelope that name is on our absentee tracker, and we'll mark our tracker for saying we've received it. We'll put them in batches of 25, and we'll basically serialize them, and we'll lock them in the cabinet in a box. This will make it a lot easier for us to be able to find those ballots, because we'll also do a numerical counting with our tracker so that we know who's in which batch. And so if they do come in and vote in person, it'll be easier for us to find that absentee ballot and remove it. And we may not have worried about this in the past because, in 2016, we had 70 absentee ballots. We have over 200 already. And I'm hoping to have, if I had my way, we'd have about 1,500 absentee ballots.
So we're going to start the preparation before actual voting day or after actual voting day?
These last 2 slides can be done anytime after we start receiving ballots. You are not going to take the ballot out of the oath envelope. That happens after Election Day.
All right.
But you can sort them and update the tracker that you've received the ballot.
Okay.
But you do not open the oath, the signed oath envelope. You do not break that seal.
Okay.
That doesn't happen until after Election Day.
Yep. Yeah.
Right about here. This is where we do that. So this will be within 48 hours of the polls if we're able to still do that. I don't know how long it'll, depending on the number of ballots we have, it may take us longer than we had predicted when we only had 70 absentee ballots. So 48 hours may or may not be enough time. It could be plenty. Putting them in the machine is not going to be that big of a deal. Taking them out of the envelopes, we'll take them out of the envelopes and have 2 stacks. One will be the ballot, which we won't unfold at that point, and the other one will be the envelopes. We'll rubber band the envelopes in that batch number, but we will take the ballots and then open them up and verify that they are scannable, that they didn't mark other marks on them, that there aren't two ballots in the envelope, that there aren't two ballots stuck together inside the envelope. Those are the things you have to do, because we would have to reject ones that end up submitting two ballots in the same envelope.
So at midnight on election day, we don't know who won really. It'll be a couple days after.
That will probably be even more correct in this election than it was in 2016, because it is very, like I said, if I got my way, we'll have more absentee ballots than we have actual voters that come in person.
I find it surprising if we can't do them all in one day though, because you vote the entire town in one day and there's a lot more stuff going on then, as far as people doing things, you know.
You're going to have to open up 1,500 envelopes and
You
then
got one of those
scan those
things?
1,500 envelopes. Well, I'm not going to let you do it quite like that. You're going to have to do it in a way that you do not know the name and what's on the ballot at any one time.
Yeah.
So they're going to separate. So there's a procedure we'll use
I know.
to make sure that even judges don't know who voted which ballot.
I know. Yeah, we talked about it.
This just kind of, I'm not bringing, we have all looked at these slides before, but I'm not bothering to put them on now because we don't really have the names of the candidates yet. So I have the general form for the statement of vote, the 48-hour election, and the certified results. Both of you have already seen those from the last Zoom meeting. However, you know, they're only draft at this point. Okay, so that takes us through the brief. Now I'm going to stop share and then reshare the other list. And then we'll start talking the actions, okay? All right, so let's see. Share screen. Here's my action list. Share. Okay. Oh, by the way, one other thing. So all those slides that we just went through,
Yeah.
those other forms that had to be done, they're mostly in the PowerPoint. So this is forms part 2. We haven't approved these yet, and we're not really going to be able to approve some of them until we actually know who the candidates are, right? So let's go to actions. I have reorganized this by the due dates. As we're going through those, Peggy, Dominic, feel free, and I don't know if Sharon's listening, or Holly, if there's any actions that you guys have and you want to change the dates or talk about the dates or who's doing what, please feel free to do so.
I got a question though. So
Okay.
you have number 3 to create, or line 3, create a flyer to encourage absentee ballot. So the flyer, is that the one that we've used before that went out?
No,
Is that the one that Sharon showed us recently, the online?
no.
Brand new one.
That's one that I was going to just do a 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper that'll have some stuff on it that maybe we could put in the post office, Rollins, other places around the town that would encourage people to vote. I would also put a photo of the drop box on it and talk about that they could A, put their applications in there for absentee ballot, or B, once they get their ballot picked up or mailed to them, they can actually put their ballot in there.
All right, so you're still putting that together and you're gonna have it all together and posted by 9/1?
No, I just wanted to talk about it at this point. I don't know that I'll have it done that fast, but it'll probably be that week. And I'll run that by the team. It's
I don't-
mostly,
I don't think we should do the temperature thing
okay,
because we're not medical professionals.
okay,
You're talking about that thing they point at your forehead and shoot you, right?
that's right.
Yeah. I don't think that's a judgment we should be doing.
I know they do it at a lot of other places like blood banks and things like that. But
Yep.
even the people doing it are not medical professionals.
At blood banks? Where?
Sure.
Well,
Yeah, when I gave blood, when I went to St. Anthony's to give blood, they did it.
Well, there are medical professionals there.
That's not who was doing it.
Yeah, but they have somebody to ask.
They do it in my dentist.
But they're medical professionals too, of sort.
I mean, I'm okay with not doing that. Where did I have that listed?
Number 1, or line 2.
Okay.
It's at the bottom with question marks.
Oh, there we are. Yep. Okay. So, Dominic, we want to get rid of that?
The temperature device?
Yes.
Yes.
So that's all three of us saying get rid of it. The Ethernet cable is for the provisional, the poll book on the provisional table. We might work around that in another way. You'll see later that I'm going to ask Gail if when they give us the updated CD, like you're using right now for validating absentee voters, they'll give us an updated one after registration closes, and I'm going to ask if they can put the state on there as well, and that way we would be able to validate our provisional ballots on that computer. But I don't know if they'll give us that. And they're normally, that state information is normally in the poll book too, but I don't know if they're going to give us that. I won't know that until I get to talk to the state. Gail asked me to hold off until the 9th of September to come back and see her because she's got other stuff going on, and so the questions, I've changed the dates for when I go talk to her to the 9th of September. Holly, the postage permit, would you update us on that?
She's not on. She had to step out.
Okay. I think she solved that.
Really?
Yeah, when I went to the post office,
Yeah, I know.
she told me no. She basically almost threw me out, you know. No, she was polite about it. She just told me we weren't allowed to do that. That's not what it was for. And I had other questions to ask her, so I didn't tell her, well, the state does it. And what she was telling me was, if you use the permit,
And you can't take any into the box.
yeah, you can't take them in the drop box. You can't have them hand delivered to the town hall. They must go through the postage.
Yeah.
And that's not what the state and county did for the primary. They put up drop boxes, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't know, but I went to Holly and Holly did her thing. So I think we're gonna find. She said it's solved. So I will move on the printing of the envelopes. You can see number 5 there. So I will move on that after I find out about Holly, because
Okay.
the permit has to be printed on the envelope. Okay, so we have some signed stuff here. I know at one time, Peggy, you had some suggestions about the what to put on signs.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
No, I think that was an email sent a while back, but yeah, just to have something at the across from the across from the gym, where everybody comes out of the federal one, if they're coming out of the federal one. And then we could have another one in front of the building for it, in case people have done the federal early or as, absentee, that were to go for the town.
Okay. Now, so I know you gave me some suggestions on the banners. Do you have, could you come up with suggestions on what to put on which signs?
On the signs?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll find that email again.
So I can send it to you if you don't have it, but the thing is that what I'm talking about is, so for the room, you're going to have an arrow or something, right? So you've got to design that depending on where you're going to put it. You have to design it so it's pointing to the room or
Yeah, you know what?
identifying the room.
Why don't you put my name on all three of them?
Okay, thank you.
I'll do a PowerPoint picture of how to put the sign.
And those due dates were more for the discussion. You can, we don't have to physically have that sign until November.
Yeah.
The one at the North Beach Fire Department that identifies that we're over in the Northeast Community Center.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most of those, I would put those signs, if we can, in the room as people are leaving, so that as they're going on their way out, they remember, oh yeah, I have to go vote. As opposed to on the way in, then they turn around and forget on their way out.
Okay. I think you had said one time about having like they have those writing boards, that you put notes and things on.
Yeah.
Was that where you were talking about something like that? The large one. What are they 2 foot by 3 foot or something?
Yeah. And Larry dropped off. And Erica said that they have a flip chart we could use.
Oh,
So
great.
in the NECC, I'm going to just set up the flip chart, or take at least the paper from the flip chart, to hang probably on their glass wall there, right in front of the doors, to say, this way. If you didn't vote absentee, come this way.
Okay. So we'll have we'll probably resubmit an input for into September. And then I'll be checking with Gail about, the support that we're going to get from her.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you can read the one here about the poll book. And she'll contact and work with I'll be working with her to work with the state. This is me trying to see whether we can get the CD or a thumb drive that has the state information on it, whether they would give us that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would go back to once we find out whether we have enough people running to have a women's voters forum.
Larry should have stayed for this part.
Well, he probably already, maybe he could see it down that far. I don't know. But so then I would get back to them and start to confirm that up. But there's not a big reason if we don't have 2 mayors, or if we don't have more than 6 candidates. Okay, so you've already talked with her.
So number 15, line 15 there, the part 2. Is that, what are we doing on Friday? Is that what we're doing on Friday? Or on Friday, are we going through the spreadsheet.
Okay, so since there are only 3 of us on here, that makes it easier, but Holly called me before the meeting and said that we didn't advertise that meeting because, I had said, well, that one would be closed to the public. But by the Information Act or whatever it's called, you have public forum, or when you hold the board, you have to actually open up the meeting, then identify that you're going to close the meeting to the public, and then and why you're going to close the meeting to the public, and then you close it, and then you do your business. So that we didn't really advertise Friday's meeting, so we're going to cancel that for now.
Okay.
The alternative I'm looking at and is I think we're gonna take care of these signature stuffs a different way. Sharon's gonna put it in the our election cabinet for me.
Okay.
I will get all those things she gave us, sign them, create a package envelope, and bring it over to you guys and drop it off.
Oh, okay.
We won't have a meeting.
All right.
If the-
Yeah,
if
I
the-
don't think we need a
If the
meeting.
3 of us sit down at a meeting, it's got to be a public forum.
Yeah.
So,
It's not a
so
problem, except that you have to mess around to make it happen. Okay.
yeah. And so then you guys can then review that and sign it and then get it back to me.
So, all right, when do you think we're doing that?
I probably will go get that later this afternoon and either bring it to you today or tomorrow.
Okay, perfect. And then after we finish signing it,
Only one of you should come to the door though.
that's right, because it's not a meeting. We can't all be meeting at the door and have a meeting. So then when we finish signing, what do you want me to, what do you want us to do with it?
Okay, arrange to bring it back to me.
Okay,
Eventually, I'm going to work with Holly to get you one of those key fob, a key fob,
yeah. Hard,
And-
yeah.
and a key to the cabinet, maybe. Okay, and thereby you'd be able to do the same thing. Go in the back door, go to the cabinet, pull out the stuff, sign it, put it back in.
Okay. All right, but for now, you'll come drop it by. That's great.
Yeah, she wanted us to reschedule the meeting and said, well, okay, so let's see what we can do about this. And
Yeah,
the way we did it in 2016 is we left the folder on Sharon's desk. And each of us went in at different times and signed it.
Yeah.
It was mainly because of scheduling. We all worked different hours.
yeah.
And it was just a matter of signing it.
Well, there's no need to sit there and sign all the forms.
We don't really need to have a meeting about it because we're actually having that meeting on the absentee ballot tracker.
Right.
And going in and we go in, you guys check it, I check it, check the registration list, and then we put our little date in there to say, by the way, thanks for finding Gibbons. And he is legal. It's just INS.
So one has a mistyping. Okay.
Yeah, it was, and she went back and checked the form and he actually wrote INS. She just typed it wrong.
Okay.
And so that's all set. Okay, so where else we gotta go here?
We need 2 large absentee ballot boxes.
Where do you see that?
Scroll down.
See the number?
No, because you moved.
Okay.
Up. A little bit higher. mean, go
Oh,
to,
there it is. Okay.
yeah, 17, yeah. So we got the room. We need 2 large lockable absentee ballot boxes, one for drop-off, one for registry verified by board. All
So,
right.
I'm going to switch that to the election cabinet. But let me explain. You seem to have you were going drop off, registry verified by board. Okay, so that registry verified by board, that's our absentee tracker. But what I mean by that is when Sharon gets it, the first thing that she does is make sure that the person's address is in the town.
Mhm.
If it's yes, then she adds them to the tracker, puts that on and verifies that. And then it's our job to then go in and see if that person is actually on the registry, is a registered voter. So
And that's-
that's for the, I'm sorry, I'm talking about the application. However, the same thing applies to the ballot. When the ballot's actually, this is where we need the lockable. When the ballot comes in, when they mail it back, she will get them in and she'll put them in a box inside our election cabinet. I will take them out, open up the outer envelope, verify that the oath envelope, will check that to the tracker,
Mhm.
check them off as having received it. And our tracker already tells us whether they're a registered voter.
Right.
We've already done that. Okay.
Right.
So if one of the names if one of the ballots comes in for one of the non-registered voters, or that we haven't found, they become a provisional voter, and we deal with them after election day.
Right. So we should need another space for that then.
Yes, and what I've worked out with Sharon is she's going to leave me a couple of boxes over there. I am going to take some of the old election stuff that's taking up space in our cabinet,
Yep.
seal those boxes and store them in the conference room so that we have room for boxes to do this.
Okay.
And so Sharon will have access by key. I'll have access by key. We're trying to get the third key from Brian Beard, who used to be on the board. And then you would have access. The only thing you would be needing then is the key fob to be able to do the same thing.
Okay. Sounds good.
Not that you have to be able to do that, because your real the board vote or the board approval is being done in the tracker.
Yeah. Okay.
I eventually will sort those once we start getting the ballots, but this will be in October. We will start putting those in those groups of 25, but I will sort the tracker for that, and I'll give them assigned numbers to each one of them, and kind of like we have now, but we'll do it based on having received the actual ballot.
Yeah.
And
I wonder though.
so that number will allow us to go back to the batch number. What's that?
That number will allow us to go back to the batch number.
Yes.
So you couldn't put the line number of the thing received onto the absentee ballot from the tracker?
Sure, but I would want them to be in. I would probably prefer them sorted in the groups of 25, so that we have a batch number 1 through 10 or 20 or whatever it is, and you go to batch number 20, well, it's one of those 25 ballots in there. And the reason is because if someone votes on election day and they submitted a ballot, we don't want to go through 1,500 ballots to find them. We want to have it numerically organized so that we can go
which
back,
ones to look at. All right, I get it.
find the batch, look,
Okay,
pull their name out.
clear.
Okay, I didn't think of all this myself. This is close to the procedure that the county used.
Right, now go back up to 17 and 18, like that area again.
Okay.
Okay, because you have a couple, oops, line 19. Now,
Okay, so
line
this
18
is-
is done, right?
what's that?
Line 18 is completed.
I guess, yeah, it's actually up now.
Yeah. So that somehow, I think you should mark it done. North Beach,
You know, one of the things,
what, I remember that, but my question for that one is, when do you want to do it? So as part of this, maybe we should agree now. So we say by the 15th, we want to do it. So that, and above, we have something about what wording we're going to use. So I think we'll need to ask them, can you do it from,
actually, those are two different things.
what?
Those are two different things. The one up here
Different things.
is
I'm
about
hard.
printing or making a sign.
No, but we also had text. So besides the text one, go back down to number, whatever it was. Yeah. So for this North Beach one, maybe we can agree now, advertising the absentee ballot on the marquee, we need to give them a range of time, I think. Like, here's the text, and can you put it on there between October 1st and 5th, or September 15th and 20th?
Yeah, I would probably,
By when do we need it back? By when do they have to send us their absentee ballot? Or ask for the absentee ballot so they can get an absentee ballot? Because
the
it's
deadline,
right
the
around,
deadline for absentee ballot applications is the 27th of October.
of October.
Yes.
So then maybe then we should ask them if they put it up there the last week of September from, I don't know, I have to look at a calendar.
Or
From,
maybe even the week of the week of the 6th or the week of the 13th of October.
yeah, I think yeah, I'd probably give them more time, but yeah.
Because they want to request the application, they gotta submit the application.
That's why I'm thinking I would do it a little sooner.
Yeah, so I agree with you. So that's why I said the 6th, the week of the 5th, or the week of the 13th
September,
of October.
October. Yeah, well then definitely the earlier one, I would say, not the later one.
Yeah, because you don't want it for the marquee. I don't think you want to be too early. But
You don't want to be too late either.
that's right. You don't want to be too late, but they'll have forgotten about it. So
Yeah. So I would say, because we're gonna do a mailer in September, so they get a reminder in September, and then maybe in October we can do another like that first week that you're talking about. For one whole week, maybe we can get North Beach to advertise it there. And we can do American Legion the week before, or the same week even.
and the thing that it's we have to make it short but sweet, and they have a lot of stuff on there already. Like the North Beach Fire Department one is continually going through the COVID message, basically. So there's some, we probably should decide on what is the key verbiage that we have to get in there so that people would know what we're talking about and where to go.
Right, and I
You have
think that's the task you have above.
What's that?
I think you already have that task up there.
I think that's a different one. The marquee is different. The marquee has less space.
You have create wording for marquee
Oh, okay.
on line 9.
All right. I'm wrong. Did I already assign that to you? No.
to all of us.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's right. You did get that email. Okay. Yeah, and I wasn't, I have to go back and look at that. I wasn't sure that,
There's too many words.
yeah, when I walk by it every day when I'm walking.
Yeah.
And they don't have a lot of stuff on there, and they flash through things. So I haven't, and once we decide what it is we think we would want, then we can get Holly to talk through the chain down to them. She said she would do that.
Okay. I am right now just looking for that email, but okay. I know I have it.
I think I thought I had it right. I moved it. I don't. I just had that this morning.
Wow. I haven't seen it since I sent it.
Well, I have a printed copy. I looked at the printed copy. Okay, so.
I mean, we could have a posted sign because they actually advertise the overdoses, you know?
Yeah, you know what? That's right.
Well,
They might
that'll
allow us to put a sign up.
take more work though.
Huh?
That'll take more work, I think. I mean, the electronics, as soon as you put the words on, they're up there, but this one you'd have to print a big sign,
Right.
get boards and put it up and all that good stuff.
Yeah,
And I
and
think putting absentee ballot sign near the dead people would be kind of weird.
You could say, you know, vote before you OD.
Exactly.
your ballot in now. Oh, okay. What else am I missing out on? Okay.
I think yeah. I have to find that email. I hope I still have it.
Um, let's see.
Do you remember any day when we did it? Like a month?
You know what? I will send you the date,
Sure, it was before August.
if not the email.
Oh, here, I got it.
Yeah, remind me what it says.
Okay.
You
So
had a
North
couple of choices.
Beach Fire Department. Chesapeake Beach voters. That's one, every line is one screen, right?
Yeah.
Order absentee ballot today and vote from home on November 3rd. See town website for details. Or we could say town hall. I mean, depending on how you want to, if they don't do website. Or call town hall for details was the other thought.
Yeah,
And then the other one was for the
sounds good.
for the American Legion was attention Ches Beach voters, but Chesapeake Beach shrunk down. You can vote from the privacy of your own home. See town website for details. Order absentee ballot today. Just changing it up a little.
I actually like those. I don't know why I would. I must have read them, not, forgot about them, not liked them, or looked at. I looked at the sign. It's just a matter of whether they would fit.
Yeah, yeah.
I was worried about the fit
I'm
when
pretty sure
I walked by.
I'm pretty sure the North Beach, the fire department one would fit. Because if we could agree on that, then we have the verbiage. I mean, it might have to be tweaked a little, but basically those are the 4 messages we have there, and then we could just proceed right to talking to those 2 places and asking them what days to put it on.
Yeah. And I could contact the American Legion, and we'll get Holly to contact the fire department.
Great.
And you can contact traders and tell them to put a sign up there telling people to do absentee voting and come in for a drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have their sign up there too.
Yeah, so we could do it like October 4th to the 10th. And that would give them 2 weeks. Or should we do it September 27th to October 3rd? That'll give them 3 weeks to get it done. To order it, get it, send it back in.
What number was that? What number was that? Okay, here. Your suggestions were,
I would say, I would do it September 27th to October 3rd. If they'll do it for a whole week. And then American Legion, should we do it for the same period or the week after? That would be then the 4th to the 9th, 4th to the 10th. Ten. Well, all right, more than a week is fine. And that's Sunday to Saturday. Do you want me to forward this email to you?
oh, I have it upstairs. I was looking at it. I meant to get to read it this morning again, but I didn't get to read it again, but I had it set aside.
Okay, if you want to forward it to Holly, the electronics, it's July 15th. It was said. And then you want to put your name on number 20.
So I always, I got help from Mayor and other people for getting judges. Plus I will contact the old ones, but they're not all 6 of them are going to be available.
Oh, yeah.
You want people that are
Nice to hang with?
going to be neutral,
Yeah.
not going to talk about election stuff, not going to talk about who to vote for. Or,
Yeah.
You don't want people with an agenda for voting. You want,
Yeah.
they can have an agenda that just can't express it during the day. They just can't say it to other voters, That becomes a real problem. I witnessed that one time at the Northeast Community Center, but it was a regular election. And one of the election judges it was in the 2016 election.
Uh-huh.
He was standing there bad-mouthing Trump and in front of everybody and talking about all this other, negative stuff and election judges are not supposed to do that.
You want to put your name on it then, if you're going to talk to the mayor and such? Our new best friends for 12 hours.
Yeah, I don't really feel comfortable about asking in the September, maybe, well, her email only goes out to certain people, but
Yeah, I don't know about an email. Yeah. I mean, if you have an idea of who to ask, maybe we can do it before then, and that could be a last ditch effort if you can't find people.
mayor's always good about finding people. I'm hoping the mayor doesn't let us down in making sure we have enough council people running.
Good heavens, what if they can't get enough council people?
Well, you heard me talk about removing write-ins, right?
Put them back.
One of the reasons I was worried about that is because what if we only had 5 people run, or maybe even 6 people run, but a write-in candidate got sufficient votes. I wanted to have a legal determination of whether I was right or not in my interpretation that we would not validate a write-in candidate.
Yeah. All right, let's see.
I didn't want to give the job to Mickey Mouse.
So these number 25 then we talked about too. So I guess if we get the other 6 judges, then we're going to ask 2 of those or get 2 other ones.
No, I would think that we would ask those.
Those 6 people.
Yeah.
Surely 2 of them, 1 or 2 of them could come the next day.
And you're right. That process may go very quickly, but we have to organize it so.
If we have the DS200 to do it, it sure will. I mean, you figure how many people have to go through and vote and go from table to table to table and get it done. And all we have to do is open, shift, feed. Can't be bad. Can't.
Yeah, and I know that the way that they did it and the mail-in was a lot more complicated than I think we have. You know, they put it in groups of 25. They took them all out. They put them in a folder, then with a tally sheet, and then that folder went over, and then they were making sure that none of those were missed, that they all were scanned. So in other words, you would, for each one of those folders, you would write the number down of from the scanner of when it started and when it ended to make sure you had the 25.
Yeah.
I don't know whether all that is necessary, whether you just set up a table where you open up the envelopes,
I think
ballot out.
Yeah, I think what we might need to do, actually, that you're bringing it up, is if we should have the folders for the 25 or however we're grouping them, I would put the 25 in, maybe you need an extra piece of paper. And then when you're scanning it, write down the first number, write down the last number that gets scanned.
And
then it can be recorded right with that batch.
Right. The current thing is to use that tally sheet.
Every 25?
Yes.
Okay.
And
That would be perfect.
And it has a number on there to write in. And it also has a number for the tracker.
Yeah. Oh, that's good then. That'll work fine. Then we can prove we did it. I mean, the whole part would be just to prove that it's, hasn't been messed with.
Well, not just to prove it, but to ensure that the number of absentee ballots that are on the tracker equals the number of scans that took
Right.
place.
Right.
And
Yeah.
if there's any differences because of rejected ballots or empty envelopes, that happens too, by the way. You'll get an oath envelope and there'll be no ballot in it. So
Canvassing the absentee ballot applications. Is that setting it, when you say that, you mean by setting them up into the 25, start the 25 whatevers?
let me make sure I'm on the right verbiage.
That's number 26. Or is that, I mean,
Oh, no. Oh, I'm sorry. Number 26 here.
yeah,
Actually, that is what we are doing already. That was a meeting to sign them, really.
okay. So
But-
that's
but we're-
right. That
But
is,
we're working around that.
okay. Okay, I
That's
see.
the applications. That's the absentee tracker. That is what we're doing on the tracker, really.
All right, so
Okay.
that's what we have to be done with by this 10-2, or what?
No, I just put it for scheduling the meeting. One of the things I need to read the code to verify. I'm pretty sure it doesn't require signatures for every absentee ballot application.
I hope not. I mean, that really would be,
And in other words, you know, we're having the three of us basically put a date in on the tracker that we verified, and that keeps us from making a mistake when we're doing all this. You know, when you got all that stuff up on the computer and you're having to move through, it's easy to get to a different line, like I did with Gibbons and Gibbons. So it's good that someone else is checking.
yeah, yeah. And we do it together, so there's active question. All right, so that's what we're doing now.
I'm gonna have to go back and check that public forum thing to make sure that you guys are allowed to talk to each other. That would be a majority of the board.
That's true. True, got a quorum right here. Hey, so until when are we doing absentee ballots? Until when are we getting applications?
You can get applications of the normal absentee ballot up until the 27th of October. However, there's a late application which can be done right up through closing of the polls.
Are we gonna have a separate spreadsheet to track late applications?
No, it'll go on the same.
All right,
The difference between a late application and a normal application
mhm.
is we don't mail ballots to late application.
Yeah, it's true.
It's done
So-
1 week out.
Yeah. So for the number 26, then maybe you should put a little comment in the comments that doing online absentee ballot tracking. So you know, 4 years from now, we know what this process was. Not that we'd ever forget it.
Oops.
Great. Then the next line, 27. We expect 9 judges on election day and 4 or 5 on the 4th. It's not, and then again, because they're not all common.
Oh, yeah, okay, and
4 or 5, depending on if we get 1 or 2. I think we could probably decide if we need 1 or 2 when we figure out how many absentee ballots we have. Because if we have like 500, we don't need anybody. Probably if we have 1,000, we don't need anybody else besides the 3 of us. The only reason we might have a 4th one is in case somebody would get, you know, a cold on the 3rd or something, and they
Yeah,
can't attend.
the longest, actually the longest part, we may be able to do almost all of it before election day.
And that's the batching.
The batching.
Yeah.
And making sure they're accounted for on the tracker and that the tracker is up to date.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not even sure we need 5. We probably, depending on how many come in, we may not need anybody.
And I think maybe the procedure, because once we have the long part is validating after election day, after closing of the polls. So between 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. that night, and when we meet in the morning, or first thing in the morning when we meet, we have to go through the entire list of voters. The entire list of absentee voters, and verify on those that actually voted in person that we don't have a duplicate ballot.
Okay. Yeah.
That could take more time. That could actually tie 2 of us up
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. So 2
to
people
do
could do
that,
2 people could do the other, or 3 people could. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah.
and to move the other part forward to where they can start opening and scanning once we.
Yeah. Mhm. Sounds good. Yeah.
But it's a matter of making sure that ballots are not on the they're on voters. That's another reason.
Chicago voting going on.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. All right.
Well, it's not that they do it with the intention of voting twice. They decide to come in and vote in person.
Yeah.
And sometimes they'll even tell you, I voted an absentee ballot. I want to,
I've changed my mind. Yeah.
I want to change that. I want to vote in person.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, good.
That normally becomes a provisional. Unless we find their ballot right away. We might not be able, in the past, I'd have the ballots there and I would just find it, but I only had 70 ballots.
Yeah. I don't think you're going to be doing it if you get 1,000 of them.
Yeah. It's not going to work quite that easy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but I like your evaluation of how long it would take to actually take it out of the envelope and put it in the scanner is probably not going to take that long.
Yeah. No.
So you have a letter opener, you open it, you take it out. You have to validate that there's only one ballot in the envelope. Pass it to the next person who opens it up and make sure that, and again, make sure there's not 2 ballots stuck together.
Yeah.
So you would kind of flatten it out so that it's going to go in the scanner.
Yeah.
And pass it over where it's picked up and put into the scanner.
Yep. All right. So now we got 28, nothing there. 29, nothing there. Order food, yay. Hey, are we gonna have food on the day after too?
No, we never have, but we could if we need it.
I'll have to call Lido's. Call Papa John's.
That's very possible too. I haven't had Papa John pizza in a while.
Okay.
In fact, probably not several years.
Because, yeah.
I go to Lido's or Mama Lucha's.
I don't like Mama Lucia's.
You don't like it?
I didn't care much for their food. All right. Let's see. Check down.
Thank you for taking
We
time.
probably will need to get food on the second day. I mean, if we get 1,000 things or 1,500 things that we have to check if they voted and then load them, it's going to be a 6-hour day, 4-hour day, 5-hour day. But I think we can do that on the spur of the moment. Okay.
And we do have to, by the way, we do have to reset up the DS200.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a process for setting it up. There's a process for shutting it down. And it takes 30 minutes to do each one of them.
I think maybe,
Maybe 45 for rookies like me.
I think maybe in your other procedure,
Mhm.
your other PowerPoint, we should have something about the day after. Maybe we should do a couple slides for the day after. Because we're going to have to get there at a certain time of day and set up the DS200, and then we're going to have the part about having 2 judges do the verification against who voted in person and 2 judges doing the open and scan.
EEG. Want me to do that?
Yeah.
All right. Since I have all the stuff already set up.
The diagram of the room, I think the people who are, however many candidates we have, so we could have up to like 10 of those judges there. Not the judges, who are the people that the candidates bring in? The challengers.
Challengers.
We could have like 10 challengers, right? I mean, if we had 3 candidates for mayor and 9, we could have 12 challengers in our room.
Right.
In which case, I think what we'll do is those chairs. You know the chairs I have down the middle of the room? I don't think Larry's going to do a challenger, so we'll have 11.
I think I just, your screen sharing is paused. Okay. So,
Oh, I hope I'm in a good position. Anyway, so I think maybe what we should do is, I think we can use those chairs down the middle. The ones I have taped off as a barrier. Just have people sitting there, and they can face either direction.
okay.
And then they can get up and swap with each other if they want. But they're going to be within 6 feet of each other. It's
Oh.
going to be hard if you got a dozen people, man. You can have them 3 chairs apart and see how many chairs fit there. And then we could have them standing on the wall. I think we make them stand the whole time. We could have them standing on the wall in the way. And I can think of a few places where they could go, but I think we have to accommodate like 12 or 13 people potentially
In line?
as challengers.
Oh, it's challengers.
Because you have to think 1 per candidate, right?
Yeah, I actually,
Once we get the number of candidates, we'll have a better idea of how many people.
in 2016, we had 1.
I would be surprised if we had 13, but that's what we'd have to keep in mind as a worst case scenario, 1 for each candidate.
Right.
And we'll probably have 1, and we'll make them stand in the corner.
Well, the actual No, it's on a different slide. The actual challenger form actually talks about what they're allowed to do. See if I have that.
Yeah, no, don't worry about that now. I'm just thinking about putting them in the room. Okay, so town hall for cardboard boxes, trifolds, and ballot boxes. What are the trifolds for?
They are the screening for the voter. However, I don't know how well those are going to work the way you
They're
have the
screening
room
for
set
the
up.
voters?
Huh?
They're screening it for the voters? You mean like when they're sitting at the table?
Yes,
They won't have anybody sitting next to them though.
right. It's going to be 6 foot off, so I don't know whether it's really that necessary. The trifold kind of goes up, and then they put the paper in down. You know, they can put the paper down in between there, and but no one's going to be within 6 feet of them anyways.
Right, right.
In other rooms, the people exited on the other side of the table, so it blocked that view.
Yeah, yeah. But we're, on ours, they're gonna be on the wall.
Right. So people are going to walk behind them, even the board doesn't protect from anything.
Right.
I don't even know if we need it.
Yeah. And the election judge can make sure people aren't walking close to people. I mean, the voting judge.
Yeah.
All right. You want to go back down to the bottom of the list again?
Okay. We have a new one.
All right. We got number 34, I think.
Oh, okay, there.
I think number 32 is complete, right? Complete, right? Complete, right? Okay. Good.
Yeah,
Good.
these all came down to the bottom when I sorted it. All the completes
right,
came
right.
down.
Yep. Okay, good. Super.
Any other questions?
No.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. It was good.
So I hope I'm not working around the public meeting too much, but I'm also I'm gonna check.
Yeah, I
Gotta
don't
read.
think watching a signed stuff would have been all that interesting for the public meeting anyway.
Well, no, it would be very boring. But I'm gonna check as to whether we have to actually sign those forms. We put it in there because it just brought it to each board member's attention. We have the ballot, we have the tracker for that right now. I don't know that we actually need a vote or approval of the absentee ballot application. We need an approval for rejection of an application.
Right. Okay.
I don't know if we need it for approval.
Okay.
However, we do need approval by signature of the declaration of candidacy.
But that's not yet, is it? Do we have them already?
And the reason I think that it's probably not worded that way is when a voter comes in to vote on election day, he sees one registration judge, and that judge makes the determination as to he's a voter. It doesn't require 2, 3, or 4 people.
Right. Good point. But you can't get an absentee ballot without it.
You can't get what?
An absentee ballot.
Oh, yeah. Well, the tracker, yes, you gotta submit the absentee. I'm just saying, I don't know that we physically have to meet and sign each
I don't think,
absentee ballot. Even though we put that on the form, I don't know that it actually has to be done if we have the tracker and we have our each one of us is dating that we approve each individual.
okay, good, very good.
You guys agree with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that's
That's
3 of us. That's a wrap. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
I'm gonna try to figure out how to close this out.
And stop it recording.
Stop
Yeah.
share.
You're in charge.
Okay, so stop recording.